Mike. I am your host, Ryan. This is
And I'm Ian, and it's been hell of a week.
bro, bro. Like first off, I just gotta know, how was it in New York City? Like, was stuff going down? Like, was it
No, it's actually quite eerie. It was
really
very. It felt like Vanilla Sky. It felt like very calm,
like almost
and
too
it's
calm?
and it's one of those things where it's like the calm before the storm, where you're like, get
Yep,
ready, get
yep.
ready, because and I was at work, and what was really quite interesting, um, is that someone was like, "What do you think is going to happen?" And I go, "We're either going to," and this is Thursday. I'm like, we're either going to get a verdict tonight, like by the end of day,
Yep.
or it'll be first thing in the morning. And they go, "Well, this is taking too long." I go, "No," I go, "They are looking at everything,
I thought it
and
was fast.
it was fast, but they're looking at everything." And when I say that, and yes, this wasn't. It was the process worked the way the process was supposed to work. Like we watched it in real time, clearly,
Yeah.
minus seeing in the courtroom and having that OJ moment, like you talked about. But when we talk about the jurors sitting there and doing their process, and you look at it, it's one of those things that I find quite interesting, that I was like, it's going to be the end of day. And I remember I got in the car. I was coming back. I took the Brooklyn Bridge over. It was just quiet. Like there was traffic and things, but it wasn't jam packed. It didn't feel like a New York day. And then fast forward to today, and the circus is in town.
Yeah, I bet.
All of the bottom of the barrel is hanging out, and it's like this weird, somber, like forced feeling of like they're trying to be the kickstand and hold this shit up.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things that is quite interesting, because I was over here just on a mission, just running some errands in the city, and I had to go buy all of it. And I was like, what is all this BS going on over here? Like, why is this all this unnecessary traffic? And I was like, that's what it is.
I'm sorry.
They're
I'm
sitting
trying
there.
to mess with my gain here.
Get your gain, son. Get your gun. So it's now the chaos is around his building, but it's met by the protesters, where it's just massive guilty signs, and
Yeah.
I'm like, ooh, okay.
So
People
so
came out.
has it been like would you say that it was an even mix of people saying, hey, guilty, and boo, this is fixed?
Well, you had little dick energy with big flags on one side, and then you had like people that had
Here
moderate
I am trying to be
flags.
like all political with how I phrase the question.
You be political all you want. I'm just telling you the truth, man. Little
No,
dick
I know.
energy, it is on the forefront. People telling on themselves.
For sure.
It's one of those things. You got to listen to people when they tell you who they are. All right.
Absolutely.
And so
Absolutely.
when you're looking at again, the little dick energy that's sitting there, and they're screaming and trying to be loud, but it feels forced, because this is a major blow. Like, can we all just take a minute and just really understand something? This American experience has just for the first time seen an ex-president found guilty by its peers.
Yes.
Remove the conversation of it being liberal judge in a liberal city. No, remind yourself, Trump made his empire in this city.
Yeah.
He is a New Yorker. These
Yeah.
are his peers.
Yep.
All this happened in Manhattan, where he is from. Yes, Queens, got it. But he made it in New York.
Yeah.
So don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted.
And for me, I thought I would come on here and celebrate, but I think I did all my celebrating yesterday, to be god honest with you.
Bro, you did a lot of celebrating. I'm sitting here on the sidelines eating popcorn, enjoying you.
Bro, like the best thing I did was go live. So here's how it happened. So what was I doing? I think I was sitting outside, but Jen comes storming in wherever the hell I was. And she's like, babe, they got a verdict that's coming in. So like, I literally jump up and start like ripping off my clothes and putting on a decent shirt and stuff so that I can go live. And freaking, I probably went live literally 10 minutes before they started reading the verdict. And as soon as it comes up, the first thing it says 5 already. Yeah. So I was like, holy shit. And I start doing Sesame Street freaking the count. I was like, one guilty.
Man,
Like, dude, the whole time.
I felt like I was on Sesame Street with you in the hood.
I
was
did,
like, here we
bro.
go.
I know at the very end, I was like, give that mother all 34 of them.
I literally was like, get him,
dude.
get him. I just started laughing at what you were posting, man. I loved it. Thank you for it.
So now that I got that out of my system,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
the seriousness of what just happened hit me.
yeah.
You know, kind of like what you're just saying. And it hit me even harder because, you know, all day on social media, I've been seeing the right wing try so hard. You know, like they're literally out there, and I'm not kidding you. If you're not on social media, you know, and I'm giving you breaking news, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
They are literally on there saying, I'm voting for the felon.
Yeah.
Like, how do you, and then they want to come at people like me and say, why do you attack me? Why don't you have a good faith conversation with me? Because there is no good faith conversation to have with you. Like, I'm wasting my time. I learned that 2 years ago. There's nothing that I'm going to say to you that is going to change your mind at this point. There is no court document that I'm going to show to you that is going to convince you of what this man has done. And because of that, all I can do is keep putting the information out there that I have, that I know is accurate, and just keep putting my foot down and making sure that that message is still heard. So it's not necessarily about trying to change their minds, because they just showed us that it, like literally the old saying of he could go take somebody out on Fifth Avenue and nobody would care.
Yeah.
Like, he just proved that that's accurate.
Well, one thing I'm going to say to you is I'm not celebrating. I actually think that this is a sad day for America, because we have now witnessed the very first what's supposed to be the best of us, right? What's supposed to be the best of us. And so the empathy I have for this country is that we just fell a bit from grace, as in we now have officially had a president, ex-president, found guilty of a crime. And this is just one set of everything, right?
Yeah.
This whole past couple of months,
this is only 34 and counting. Yeah.
Right. And counting. And so it's not looking good right now.
Yep.
But it's one of those things that I will say to you that I've had those conversations with, and it trying to be in good faith with the other side. And you're right. They double down on their ignorance. They double down. They've literally become the party of, which cracks me up, where they're like, now defund the police. Like, they're like, this
anti law and order.
And I'm like, well, things have changed. Like, we are in the upside down world.
And if you'll allow me, can I just say, if you think that the Kyle Rittenhouse jury got it right, but that this Trump jury got it wrong, you're a freaking hypocrite.
I mean, it goes without saying. I mean, it's one of those things where what I can say to you is the fact that you're looking at everybody do it by the book. Plain and simple. Here's just the facts. This is what we're going off of. There's no way that you can make anything up. Here's the receipts. Here's literally the hush money payments in handwriting by your own people. Here's your best friend testifying against you.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't even like, I don't even care about Michael Cohen. Remove him from the whole situation.
Yeah, even if you remove him.
Pecker. It was that dirty, sneaky Pecker that came out and literally
that drippy Pecker will get you
all that truth up on that case and on his face. You know what I mean? Like, it really is that. It's that serious. He actually was the person that I thought really solidified this.
Yep. So, we kind of just
Ryan,
went. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
What I was going to say was the fact that this was not just so simplified of payment to a porn star and here we are, right? It had nothing to do with Melania. It had nothing to do with him personally. It had everything to do with the 2016 election and how he could try to hide information for people to actually vote at that time. Because remember, this was when they had the case, the videotape coming out about, snatching them up by the, you know what I mean?
Yep.
And it's like, oh, by the way, guys, we're trying really hard not to curse. And we are starting a new segment we're going to try to work out where are we ready for it yet or not yet?
Not yet.
All right, not yet. We're working on something, but we're going to try hard not to curse. But we got something for you guys to have some fun.
Oh, wait, no, you talking about the jars?
Yes.
Oh, no, we can talk about that.
All right. Real quick, guys. So here on Hold the Mic, we're always coming up with fun things for you guys on a Friday night. So we're trying to bring it back to elementary school. We're going to set up a swear jar. And when we curse, we want to set up a foundation where we start paying. We haven't decided yet for what the charity will be, but we would love if you guys can match our donation for every time we curse. So if we curse and if we go hard in the paint and a Ryan rant,
I'm going to be broke.
Yes, you are. And so all I want to say to you guys is if you guys want to help us out.
It's an expensive hour every week.
You know what I mean? And this community right here, because I have to say, this is some of the most amazing people coming together on a Friday.
For sure.
If we could put something together here, we could really change at least a community. We'll start off soft. We're not going to change the world. We're going to change a community. But we're going to try to help out. So we're going to figure some things out. We're really going to do it. But let me not digress.
Yeah. So we got to make jars. So we got to come up with our jars. But
we got to make jars.
Does the moderator count? Yeah, you keep it up. Yeah, you're going to need a jar too.
Oh, you getting 2 jars. You already started. But for this moment, what I said to one of the individuals that I was talking to, and I shared a little bit of our conversation, me talking to the other side of the aisle with you, and it's just like, I know we both are just shaking our heads because we know that exists, right?
I
that
just
mind
can't
frame.
believe it.
And so I said to him, I was like, look, if it was Biden, I wouldn't be sitting here trying to defend any of it. I'd be like, okay, he was found guilty.
Found guilty.
There's a certain point
Pack
that
your
you
bags,
have to realize. There's a certain point you got to be like, yo, the system worked. It did what it was meant to do. And that's good or bad. You got to sit with it. You be like, okay, this was the trial. This was the jury. This was the case. This was the facts. The jury found him to be X, Y, and Z, which is 34 counts guilty.
Yep, every single one.
And now July 11th, here we come. We will have an understanding of what this sentencing looks like. But let me tell you, Ryan, Trump keeps coming out here running his mouth. All that is being collected for the judge to look at in the context
in the sentencing.
In the sentencing.
Yeah, for sure.
He will have all that in consideration. Like, you have no
all the
remorse.
people that showed up, trying to intimidate, all the elected officials that showed up.
Showing up for Trump, except for whoever's paid for.
Well, that's what I mean. The elected officials showing up was a dirty ass move.
But Ryan, and nobody showed up today.
No, I'm not talking about today. I'm talking about if you're the judge in sentencing, and this dude's found guilty on all 34. And you're taking everything into account because they are allowed to take everything into account from the case, correct? For the sentencing, right?
Right.
So it's like all the crap they pulled, all the disrespect that he showed in the courtroom, all the stuff they pulled every day he walked out, all the elected officials they had standing behind him every week, to intimidate the jury and anybody else that wanted to say something. It's like, come on. It's insane to me that this guy is getting away with this. But I think when it comes to this sentencing, if the judge factors all that other stuff in, because he acted guilty the whole time. Like, he never came out there and said, oh, I didn't do it, and here's my proof, here's my alibi, here's my whatever. And he's crying that he didn't get his fair shake in court, but when it came time for him to swear under oath and get questioned not only by his side, but also the other side.
Right. Cross-examining.
Yep. Exactly. That was what he's afraid of. And he was like, nope, I'm not going to get on the stand, which we all knew he wasn't going to.
No, my man could not sit there
and plead the fifth for 2 days.
Well, he couldn't keep his depends dry if he was being cross-examined. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's one of those things where you got to keep it in
when you know you're guilty, and he's not that good. He may think he is, but he is not that good of a tap dancer. Like,
but it's like we have in the comments here, I see it, a Joe Emery, and it's like, Joe, I see what you're saying, and I see that you want really hard for this to be a case where it's political. You want it to be where it's Democrats in New York going against Trump. I just have to say, like.
And by the way, can we just point out real before you go into that, this dude is talking smack from behind an account with what is that, an NFT, a monkey NFT? Like, dude. All right. It's probably not your real name, and if I could actually go click on your profile and see what it looked like right now. Matter of fact, moderator, would you please go check on that profile and let us know who this person is, please? Thank you.
But the reason why I want to say that to you is that I want you to really let it sink in, and I know you're going to need a minute to let it sink in. You know what I mean? This is the bubble has burst for you.
Yep.
This is not just the one trial that this district has ever gone for. They have numerous cases happening all simultaneously. Sex crimes, other fraud, anything that is white collar crime, and they are literally knocking out case after case after case. This is just one to them. And I'm sorry that it meant a lot to you and you think it's political. This isn't political.
Nope.
It's not. And it's about to get political because Joe Biden's about to wrap this up.
Yeah. Well, I mean, of course it is political because it's the first time, an ex-president has gone through this, and he's currently running for president. Like, again, can I just say, I just want to put this on the record one more time, how horrible of a move it was for the Republican Party and the GOP to say, you know what? Let's support the guy who lost as an incumbent by 7.1 million votes in the popular vote. Let's run him again. That was one of the most smooth-brained ideas that I've ever seen. Like any other president, when they lose, especially as an incumbent, they go away. Yeah. Because there's no other races to run. Like, what are you going to do? Go back and be a senator after being a president?
Right.
Like, no, you retire, you move on. I mean, the dude literally said if he lost to Joe Biden, he'd leave. And of course, that was yet another lie. Right. So it's like, it's
real
just,
quick. Please. Joe has a lot to say today. Joe, look at this next one.
Well, let's not spend too much time on
No. I just want to prove a fact.
Okay, go for it.
Joe, if it's political, because your message says it's political, Judge randomly was assigned to 3 of Trump's cases. Laugh out loud. If it's political, would you agree that Eileen Cannon is in the pocket of Trump in Florida, and that too is political? You just let me know what you think about that. My question to you.
The hypocrisy. Let's see.
No. I just want to know what you think about that, because you have a lot to say. I would like an answer from you. So that's all I got. And we don't have to go back to that. If he doesn't want to respond, that's fine. But I do have a question for you. Please, by all means, with all that Twitter fingers, please go ahead and hit it. But yeah, so in general, I'm gonna be the first to say it. That motherfucker's guilty, and here we are. We've been waiting for this moment.
Officially guilty.
We've been waiting for this moment, and this is just the beginning. I think we now have a kink. We found a chip in the armor. He looks very defeated. I think he is in a place where he does not look like himself. His hair did not have that poof it normally does.
No, he looks rough. He looks rough coming out. His little statement after was he just sounded very dejected, and he knows how bad this is. He knows how bad that is. And he knows. And here's the thing. I'm going to be honest with y'all. I did not expect all 24 guilty counts. I was going to be happy with, honestly, 5, maybe 10.
Yeah.
Like it was very surprising to me. I'm not going to sit here and lie that all 34 of them came back like guilty. So, I think that's a strong message, and I think it also sets a little bit of a barricade for his defense come appeal time.
Right.
Because you got 34 counts, you gotta prove that should be overturned, and that's a lot. That's a big ask. That's a big ask.
Right.
So, even if they overturn half of them, he's looking at 4 years each, which I'm sure they would do it to run concurrently, so it would still only be 4 years. But, he's still looking at 136 years right now as it sits. So if the judge wanted to be a complete dick and say, you're going to run those back to back, right. And he could do that. I don't think he would. But, I'm going to tell you, man, I'm really interested in the sentencing because I will say that I would not want that judge's job right now, because no matter what he does,
right.
It's
not even that. I think that he is so by the book on this, and he's been very firm.
Thankfully,
you know what I mean? Very firm. Because let's be serious. You look at the RICO case in Georgia. You're like, come on, why are you?
Yeah, way too much
canoodling?
extracurricular bullshit.
You know what I mean? Why you got to be on point. You got to be on point. They're looking for anything and everything to throw this off. Yeah. And you got to be on point. And with this, this judge was very on point.
Yeah.
And I feel like he really did hold it down on a very straight line. But I think that's one of the biggest things. You know what I mean? I don't think it. I think for the judge, I think he's going to be fair about this, and I think he's going to look at the severity of what this judgment is,
Yeah.
right? But at the same time, something that actually hit me, and I know why it hit me. Ivanka responded to her father, and she's not been around at all for any of this.
Yeah.
But she did write out to her father, "I love you, Dad," and that hit me because I was like, "Damn, like that is his girl." Right? No matter what, father daughter, like that's the relationship.
Yeah,
I know, all jokes aside.
Yeah.
But just in general, we're seeing him and we think that he's down. Homegirl is seeing him how maybe she has never seen him before.
Yeah.
And she felt like she needed to put that out there
Mm-hmm.
for the world to see.
Yeah, and I mean, of course, I would expect his kids and
Yeah.
family to still support him, and whatever. Laura Trump put a video out because, of course, they're trying to, distance Trump from the 34 felony, verdict. Right. They're trying to make him look like the cute old grandpa. And Laura Trump posted a video of her two kids running up to him. The daughter has a photo that she drew, and the boy walks up, and it's like they tried to hug, and it was so freaking awkward looking. You can tell that that's not their normal interaction.
Right.
Like you could see it. And then he takes the picture. He doesn't even look at it. He just kind of holds it. So you can tell, he doesn't ever like look at the picture and go, "Oh, look at this. This is great." Like none of that. It was just very, structured, and you could tell that it was awkward. And I posted it. I was like, wait till they find out that their grandfather is, a convicted felon, an accused pedo, found liable of sexual abuse. Wait till they hear the videotapes of what he said about, their aunt, or what he said that he can do to women because he's famous.
Right.
I'm like, when are they going to learn that part of Grandpa's personality?
Grandpa with them snatchy hands.
Yep. And you know what? And it's like, and you know what? And I managed to do that and not attack the kids. Because, she's putting them out there on Twitter. So it's like,
right.
And you guys all know how I feel, but, about attacking kids and shit. So I tried to really keep it about like, wow, he's their role model. Like, if it were me, I'd be keeping my kids far away from him. I mean, I'm just going to be honest. Like,
hey man, family trauma. All right. It's the only thing they know. It's the only thing they know. So it is, I'm not going to knock people's families, of course, as you know.
No, you're right. I shouldn't.
But it's one of those things where it's like that's the world they know and they live in, and it's like more power to you, whatever that is, and they know a side of him that you and I will never know. You know what I mean? And I'm just pointing out the fact that his daughter, which clearly his favorite, felt like the world needed to see that she was saying, "I love you, Dad." And something about that did actually get to me, where I'm just thinking to myself, like, God, if I was in his position, because I really am trying to look at this like this man literally had a taste of ultimate power, and now and keep in mind he's lost every election, the popular vote being the first election, then he lost every other election since.
Yep.
And anybody who he touches is it's trash, right? It doesn't work.
Very few win their elections.
Herschel Walker won't even give up the money that he got from all the donations. Like he's not even he's like
he just vanished, dude.
It's my bag. You ain't getting my bag. You know what I mean?
Seriously, have we heard from him?
You ain't getting my money.
He took that money and ran. And as soon as Christian came out,
he hit him with that Heisman.
Bro, he was dodging him like he dodges child support.
Bro,
freaking. And when Christian came out, and I have no love for Christian, again, I think that kid is probably traumatized by his upbringing a little bit as well. But when he came out, letting his dad have it, it was kind of like, I think it's over for him. Like when your kid comes out and destroys you on social media and it goes viral. You're done.
Wrap. I don't think you're going to be anything for America. I'm sorry, guys. Sorry.
When your own family comes out, it's kind of like Robert F. Kennedy Jr. When your entire Democratic family refuses to endorse you, like not
They're
a
like,
good
he's a Trojan horse.
yeah,
Don't do it.
not only that, like not even just saying, "Oh, I'm not going to vote for him." They're coming out and looking at everybody else and going, "Don't do
It's so good.
it." You know, like
I want to give a shout out to Jeffrey. Jeffrey's been definitely a very stable fan base, individual
here almost
personality.
every
Jeffrey's, oh
episode.
yeah, he's here, man. We see you. I just want to give you a shout out. You always ask really great questions. I did see your earlier question, but this one, personally about this, Ryan, I think you should answer it.
Question to Ryan Ian. Why is Trump's conviction different from other presidents like Nixon, Reagan, Clinton, or W. Bush? What convictions?
Well, this
See,
is, well,
okay,
this
so
is, this,
so to be fair, I off the top of my head, I don't know every court case that every president has gone through. So if you have any specifically that I might be missing, but I don't think what makes this conviction different is I don't think any of those other, well, Nixon maybe, but I don't think Reagan, Clinton, and W. Bush were trying to overthrow a government or not abide by, you know, the election results. You know, it's one thing. It's one thing to battle it out in court. It's a whole other thing to, you know, build a movement and continue, you know, to deny these, you know, these results for 4 years.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's just, you know, it's different.
Yeah.
And again, if I'm missing anything from any of the presidents that I just don't know off the top of my head, I'm trying to answer.
Here's the difference.
Yeah, I'm
Here's the
trying to
difference.
answer it to the best of my ability, you know, without sounding
the
like
difference.
I don't know what
This
I'm
is
talking
the first
about.
time a president has been now convicted for a crime.
As far as I know, right? Yeah.
The impeachments don't matter. That's political. You know, when you look at
Yes.
anything with Clinton, nothing ever got to this level. The closest would be Nixon, and Nixon had the decency to step down, and his party, or the party, Republican Party, was not a cult, and they came into the room and said, "You need to leave, Mr. President."
They held him accountable.
They looked at the country over party back then, and that's the thing that we're seeing now. The Republican Party is only solely about power. Now, they can equally say the same thing about the Democratic Party. Yeah. And I'm really becoming more of an independent for my own purpose, my own reasons, but I do lean very liberal. I am liberal. I don't lean liberal. I am liberal. But I am one of those individuals where I do see a conservative standpoint. I do see the need for a conservative ideology because I do feel like the left washes the right, and likewise. And we need to keep that in consideration that, you know, we are a strong country if we are together. And I always advocate for that. I do think that we need to find a middle ground where we really can work with each other. And I do think that we need both parties and ideologies, but I do think that the fringe on both sides are the loudest. And that's the part that we need to start pushing away, because
distancing ourselves from
going way too far left or way too far right, those two crazies meet in the middle somewhere else. You know what I mean? And it's like, and I'm not even interested in that in the underground world.
Well, and that's, go ahead. Sorry.
But just in general, Nixon resigned before it got to this level. And that's the thing that's different.
To basically avoid prosecution, and the backdoor deal was that Ford would pardon him.
And that's exactly it. And, you know, and I wouldn't be surprised if Trump was like, yeah, I'll take the deal and Biden pardons me. It's a different time.
Let me ask you, would if that deal could be made, that Biden pardons Trump and he just freaking goes away,
we've already talked about little dick energy.
No, I'm not. I mean, I'm just asking, do we take that deal?
Do we, or are you talking about Trump?
Well, I mean, Trump, of course, would take that deal. But I'm saying now that he's
that's why we are where we are. No, he wouldn't take that deal.
Well, I think things have changed a little bit now that he's been found guilty on 34 felonies. So, you know, now
you're saying as of right now.
Yeah, I'm just asking the general question. If at some point Biden says, you know what, I'll pardon you of everything, you just fucking go away. Like do we take that as a country?
I'll be honest with you. I will be very disappointed.
I would too.
And the reason why I say that, my honest reason, I feel like the uber wealthy and powerful always have an exit.
Yep.
an off ramp. And
Yep.
that's why I will be very disappointed, because there are people who are facing far more time at Rikers, at any prison, for doing the smallest crime. And then that to
Yep.
me will be, this is a war on poverty in this country. And then I would be advocating for everybody to stand up and to literally remove everybody from this government.
Yep.
Because they're only taking care of each other.
Yeah, that's how I feel. I think, unfortunately for Trump, the legal precedent that needs to be set here is so important. We need to make sure that this can't happen again.
Well,
go ahead.
If he's not the DOJ and this is not him trying the case, then he should not be the judge, executioner, or giving out the olive branch to get him out of jail, out of jail free card.
Get out of jail free card. Yeah.
Get out of jail free card. He should not be that individual. He should just be completely out of it and just stay in his lane.
And to kind of touch on this, because I think you might know this, but a lot of people don't. I did a 30-minute video about it last year. It's on my YouTube if you really want to know. But I left the Democratic Party about a year ago. Mm-hmm. And, I have my personal reasons for why I did it. But as you can see, over the last 12 months, my message hasn't changed.
No.
It hasn't. That hasn't changed who I am, what I fight for, who I choose.
I feel like you and John Federer would get along really well.
Yeah, he goes a little extreme for my liking too sometimes, but
I like how he trolls the liberals. I think it cracks me up.
Yeah, he's definitely
he has that zero, F's given. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we're definitely very similar in that way. Yeah. And I would probably
each other.
And I would probably wear the hoodie. Yeah, we probably wouldn't. I always butt heads with people that are similar to me.
I love it.
But no, I left the party, and it's like, I agree with you. At some point, we're going to have to get back to being Americans. And it was funny because I made a video a little bit ago and put it on TikTok. And what inspired it was I went in and talked to Jen, and I'm like, I'm just so frustrated because all day, all I saw was, I'm voting for the felon. It's like, wow, you guys really don't care. And she looked at me, she's like, why are you surprised? And I said, you know what it is? I said, I finally figured it out. It's because every time one of these charges come out, an indictment comes out, he's found guilty on fraud, he's found guilty of sexual abuse, he's got 34 felony counts, he leaves January 6th. Every time something like this happens, I think this is going to be, the last straw that finally makes Americans stand up and say, you know what? America is bigger than one person. America is bigger than Donald Trump. And let's get rid of him. Let's get rid of his family, because they're all a bunch of freaking frauds and criminals. And let's bring back parties that actually give a shit. They like to quote Ronald Reagan all the time. I challenge you all to go on YouTube tonight and bring up Ronald Reagan's last speech in the White House. And then I want you to really pay attention to the part that he talks about immigrants.
Yeah.
So you guys want to lift up Ronald Reagan, when his positions benefit your agenda today. Right. But you like to ignore the really important parts of his position. He is what, the Republican Party for the most part was. Yeah, he was fiscally conservative, and yeah, he probably screwed over the middle class. But at the end of the day, he also saw what America was about. He understood what patriotism was, and he actually gave a shit about our military.
Yeah.
So, that's the kind of Republican Party I'd like to see, and at the end of the day, we are bigger than Donald Trump. We are going to have to figure out a way to freaking live together again. And, this dude is not worth it. You people walking around that look like a Donald Trump billboard from head to toe, please stop.
Yeah.
To me, it's literally a flashing light telling me that you are not a good person, that you are willing to vote for somebody that would literally try to deport my family.
Yeah.
My in-laws have an accent. They came from a different country.
Right.
My father-in-law did 28 years in the military so that they could come here. That's the America dream that Reagan was talking about. That's the America that I thought I served. And somewhere along the way, we've allowed Donald Trump and the MAGA movement to distort that view and our principles. And we have to find our way back. And I don't know what the answer is right now, because from where I'm standing, we're headed more towards actual combat than trying to put our brains together and figure out a better solution than let's all go grab our weapons and see how many are standing when it's all over.
Well, we tried that before, and
they lost.
And they lost, and they
will
lost
again.
And hey, everybody that loves their Second Amendment, good luck against a drone. It's, I don't, all the Kyle Rittenhouses that are out there, pew pew, it ain't gonna work out for you. You know what I mean? It's just not. And anybody that was January 6th, all that whole mentality, like, look at how you guys fought like barbarians that were in, the 1600s, and it's like, yeah, that's not gonna work against an actual. I just want to remind people, if it was the same type of militaristic police force at the government, the same system that was there for Black Lives Matter on January 6th, y'all would have been real quiet.
Yeah.
Y'all would have been real quiet.
For sure.
I would have been seeing tiny flags, those little ones that you get, at the dollar store. You wouldn't have had no big flags. Y'all wouldn't have been coming with that.
And you may not ask it. I'll ask it. What if the black president was found guilty of 34 indictments after leaving office?
Oh, man, please. Please. They didn't need to ask it. Him in a tan suit was an upset. Okay?
Yeah.
Disgrace.
Again, this goes back to the when they go low, we go high, agenda that the Obamas had. They had to, because they couldn't fuck up.
Yeah.
Shit. Oh, there's two.
Ah!
But they couldn't mess up. Bing!
Yeah.
$2.
But
mark it down.
And it's interesting because, and when you talk about this, that you're really thinking about, just how this movement that's behind Trump. Don't be shocked, Ryan. They glorify what he stands for because they are that.
They are him.
You know what I mean?
No, you're right.
They're on their third marriage. They're on whatever. They
married to immigrants. You
know what I mean? And they are. I have a couple of friends married to immigrants, and they're talking about, oh, I don't believe in immigrants. I'm like, yeah, but your wife just got a green card, and now she's divorcing you. Yeah. What do you think just happened there, bro? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, she got what she wanted, so good luck. You know what I mean?
Your wife got a green card and divorced you. What do you think just happened?
What you think just happened? Bing! Bye. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, man.
I got but it's one of those things where I sit here and I go, I'm not shocked. I empathize for you because everything you care for right now is on full display and it's crumbling. So if anything, it's a cry for help. The louder you are about your support for this man is just you probably need a hug. You know what I'm saying? Because and this is the part where I love my friends who are conservative. Not saying that they are going to vote for Trump again. One of them I have a really good, honest conversation with. And they're like, look, I don't like Biden. I work in the car industry. I see the things that are happening. I look at the tariffs. Like, they have a real honest conversation with me about the issues that are happening. They're like, the EV market is going to ruin us. And I'm like, that's interesting. It's good to have this conversation with you because we need to keep you in mind. The fact that America is moving in another direction. We need to think about the people who are going to suffer from this. How do we take you into the new system?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because if we do not adapt, we end.
But the
and this is a conversation that we need to have with this mentality. Now, then there's the fringe, like we talk about. You're never going to change them. You're never going to change them.
No, they're too extreme.
These are people who are wiping feces on walls. You're not changing them. They want the chaos. They need the chaos. You have a couple in the group chat here, and they think that this means something. You guys, I love seeing you here. You want to hang out with us, and you're more than welcome. We can kick it. Welcome to the show. Matter of fact, if this is your first time here, welcome to Hold the Mic. Like, subscribe, hit the subscription button. We're here. We're kicking it. We're open dialogue. We can talk about anything and everything. If you have a great, solid question, bring it up. We will jump on it. I asked a question to one individual, and he bitched up. I'm sorry. There's another one for the thing. He said, "What aboutism?" And it's like, bro, you had your chance.
So before we move on from this, I want to pose a couple of things. I want people to realize that Trump being found guilty of 34 felonies means that he cannot travel to dozens of countries. So how is he going to conduct business as a president when he's a felon and can't travel to certain countries? And then my next thing that I'd like you to think about is the irony that comes from the guy who preaches about the felons and the dangerous criminals that are coming over our border from Mexico.
Yeah.
The irony that he's a fucking felon now that other countries don't want coming over their border.
Criminal. They're not sending their best.
Not sending their best.
It really, when things don't age well, that's all I gotta say.
I'm telling you, dude.
Things don't age well.
Self-awareness is key in life, and developing
but
it has done wonders for me.
This is. I love growing up, man. Let me just tell you, I love aging up.
I love being older than
aging
15.
up.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to see like what the roadmap looks ahead, right? So the sentencing is going to be on July 11th. And,
July 11th, yeah.
And we'll know more about what is in stake, in store for Trump. But we got to keep in mind the whole process of voting, right? Like whatever his sentencing is, we'll see what that is. But will DeSantis pardon him so he can vote? Because remember, all the voter fraud and the millions of dollars that DeSantis had to create that task force for voter fraud that happened in 2022, the safest year of elections, which they claimed was not. And yet solid people in the industry that were Republicans said this was the safest election that we have had. Are there outliers? Every election there's outliers. Guess how many people were actually voter fraud coming from the right wing? Okay. People voting for their wife. My wife couldn't make it, so I voted for her. No, that's called voter fraud.
Yeah, like that
literally is voter fraud. So DeSantis, my question is going to be, for him being in Florida, is he going to give him the privilege to vote at this next election? And at the same time, if you are going to do that, how many other lesser in status Americans? Because he should be held at the same level of every American.
I think he'll do it just for the optics for his side.
That's because DeSantis doesn't have anything to offer, and he needs the headlines.
Yep, 100%.
You know what I mean? And he's probably trying to win over that VP seat.
Yeah, that would be horrible.
Yeah.
So, and before we move on from Trump, as we move on from Trump, I should say, that was a bad transition.
Yep. Before we roll over Trump.
Yeah, no, it was a bad transition because of respect reasons. Marion Robinson, Michelle Obama's mother, it was announced right before we came on the show that she had passed away.
Yo, man, that's America's grandma right there, man. You got to give it up.
If you
giving you a lot of respect.
Yeah, 86 years old, and if you followed the Obama family and administration at all, then you know that she was in the White House, helping them with the kids.
That's right.
Making sure that those two girls had as normal of a life as you can have as the kids of a president.
A lot of pressure.
So I'm sure I know for a fact that Obama has praised her at almost every turn because he knows how fortunate I think he was to have her presence in the White House. Why he was him and Michelle were doing what they needed to do. So
right.
Yeah, she'll be missed.
Definitely, man. Rest in peace, Queen.
Definitely. So, it feels weird moving on to something after that, but, I just wanted to make sure that we gave her flowers.
100%.
Because they were deserved. So, but let's go ahead and I want to move on to what I think is going to be an issue, especially with Donald Trump, being found guilty is. And before I go into this, I just want to remind folks. So Justice Samuel Alito, he has.
I just love that Kaylin trolls you. That's all I got to say. She's in the comments. Just your transition.
Oh, yeah, that was a bad one, wasn't it?
Love you, Kaylin.
Yeah.
Love you.
That was fair, though.
Yes.
So Justice Samuel Alito, he had some questionable flags outside of his properties. One was an upside-down American flag 2 weeks after January 6th, which, if you don't know, symbolizes a country in distress. Mm-hmm. And then the other flag was Do you remember what the name of the flag was? I didn't write it down.
Something about
Christian
yeah,
welcome me to heaven flag. It's like it's got the Christmas tree looking on it. It's a white flag with a pine tree on it,
yeah.
and it's like something to heaven, but it's a religious flag, and so he gets called out on it. You know,
Which got
people.
hijacked by white nationalists. Is that what the meaning of it?
I think so.
Like it was
Yeah.
like an old flag that they brought back up in like the
It
90s.
was more of a I think Christian, you know, nationalist than white nationalist.
Got it. Got it.
Yeah. But so he had these questionable flags, and he gets called out on it a couple weeks ago, and basically he wrote a letter stating that he refuses to recuse himself from any January 6th cases or cases that involve January 6th defendants or cases that involve Donald Trump in any way, shape, or form, or election 2020 cases. He
Right.
refuses to recuse himself from all of them and says that he didn't put the flags up. It was his wife's fault. And therefore, he has no responsibility to remove himself from the cases.
Yeah.
Wow. Like, I don't even know what to do with that. Like, first, you've got Clarence Thomas, who is the only dissent vote when the Supreme Court had to rule on releasing January 6 documents to Congress.
Right.
He was
Right.
the only dissent vote. And now, knowing what we know about his wife, you know, it's like he shouldn't be up there. Judge Alito clearly shouldn't be up there. Because I'm going to tell you this, and this one's for all you alpha males out there. You know, all you alpha males that probably lift this guy, love this guy, and love this move. This guy just blamed his wife for putting up the flags and not taking them down. Like, if you're not even alpha male enough to come home, take that flag down, fold it up, and go into the house and explain to your lovely wife why that's probably not a good idea considering his position on the Supreme Court, then you probably shouldn't be trying to control my wife. Because you can't even control your own.
You don't control anybody. And
they're trying.
Yes, they're trying to control 100% all women in this country. And what's interesting about this is that I actually got to listen to the neighbors, and it, you know, posting what they were posting, young 30s, a young woman and her boyfriend living with her mom, and they were on some, you know, F Donald Trump type of stuff, you know, that kind of energy.
Mm-hmm.
And for some reason, Miss Alito felt, as the story goes, that she wanted to put up that flag. The thing that's here is all Justice Alito has proven to me is that he doesn't have good judgment.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
You don't have control over that situation. That's judgment right there. You don't stay neutral. And then when you come out with this press release of not just saying, you know, it was a mistake and we, you know, it was a Family Feud thing, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, and we squashed it immediately when we could, like, just ending it there. You know, the fact that he just finger pointing towards his wife shows me also not good judgment.
Yeah.
And then that quickly flopped because then the other property with another flag. So it's just like, yeah, we don't care what you have to say. The issue really comes down to that you and the career that you have had cannot end any sooner. And this is where I say to every single person, we need to vote because the Supreme Court is on the line. If Trump wins, Alito gets to retire, which means that he will pick another justice.
He could pick two. He could pick two.
And the only thing we can do in this moment, I'm not bitching about him. I'm only telling you, go vote down the line and get these people out of power. Because if you can get them out from, and I'm talking about even in your local, get all these people out of these seats, because this is how important it is. The Supreme Court has always been the number one thing that these conservatives, especially these fringe individuals, want. They play the long game. We need to start getting in that fight. And the thing that I tell you is, if you put another individual like Biden in there, and any Democrat leader in leadership role in a moment like this, you're looking at creating some type of balance that this country needs, because I do think that there needs to be an actual balance of conservatives and liberals on the Supreme Court. I don't think it should
Yeah.
be up for election. I think it literally should be a seat on both sides that are even, because you're looking for a actual,
I
you want a solid judgment for this country.
that actually makes sense to me.
Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, it's an odd number, and maybe that one seat that's the head is picked by the president. I don't know how you reformat
Yeah, that would be
this.
the one interesting. Who gets to pick the
Do you know what I
the
mean?
tiebreaker? Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like if you have the same amount of liberal justices and the same amount of conservative justices,
It's
because
as fair as it's going to get.
we're talking about the Supreme Court. The fact that it's heavy on one side means that we are not balanced.
Yep.
And it shows. It really shows in
does
this
show.
country.
It does show. And
It's
you
top
can
heavy. This country is top heavy, and we are leaning for like hard.
and
We
you
are
can
leaning.
tell, look at the cases that they're bringing. You know, look at the people that are pushing, you know, the legal precedent why they know they have the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
You know, like that's literally the agenda. So yeah, I love that idea actually.
They
I think
created the chaos that we have now in front of us.
Yep.
Alone with Roe v. Wade. Alone.
Yeah, and maybe
now with
that tie-breaking chair would have to be like a rotating chair. All the judges would get to sit in it at some point.
I mean,
You know what I'm saying? Like something, like we'd have to come
Yeah.
up with something. But I really like that train of thought is,
Yeah.
you know, you have equal. If we are a two-party system, so until we do
Yes.
something about that,
Yeah.
it actually would make more sense to me. You have 3 liberal seats, 3 conservative seats, and then you got a tiebreaker, and you know,
It's just there. And it's and look, Roberts has he's gone both ways.
yeah,
You
he's
know what
gone.
I mean?
Roberts has gone both ways. You know, he's
He's been
definitely
even.
gone
He's been
conservative
even.
a few times where I was like, really wish you'd
Yeah.
have gone that time, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's I think we need to really rethink how our country could be. And there's nothing
Yes.
wrong with that. I think critiquing your government is one of the best things ever, because you're looking at better ideas,
bro,
right?
thank you. Like, guys, we need to remember that our Constitution was written in a way to make it very applicable and able to fine tune it. You know, we should be the measure. The measure of a good person is if you can take in new information and change the way you look at things.
Yeah.
And to sit here and think that you know, in 1776 or you know whenever, that they had everything figured out, and that we haven't had 27 amendments, 28. I'm going to make myself look really stupid right now. But the fact that we have all these amendments, they're there because that's the way the Constitution was written. It was written to be a living, breathing document that can adapt with our society over time. And right now, we are all living history. This time period that we're in right now is going to be in the history books. And what comes next is going to be, are we going to fix it? Are we going to fine-tune our government to make sure that this shit doesn't happen again? Or are we going to let us continue going down this road?
Yeah.
Because if we keep going down this road, we're going to be burning history books.
I mean, we already started.
We already started. So, you know, that's where the fine-tuning comes in. When we start seeing, oh, we've seen this before. We don't want to do that again.
Yeah.
Let's put legislation in place to make sure that our country is protected.
Well,
that the
that's the
majority
beauty
of Americans are protected.
That's the beauty of what our forefathers did create. And when you think about that, where they're like, hey, you need to work together to update and change, you know, the laws of the land
For everybody. Yes.
for everyone. And it's so interesting to listen to these ignorant people who are in the position that they are in on Capitol Hill talk about, you want to change what the forefathers thought. It's like, that's literally the system they created.
Yep.
Like, you're not even open to the concept, or you're just playing stupid for your base, whatever. But we all know that individual, I'm not even saying her name, that individual may not be around much longer because she's burned too bright, too fast, and it's over.
Yep. You know, and Cat Williams just came into my head because he did an interview with Larry King. And Larry King said, "What's the worst advice you ever got?" And he said, "Don't ever change." That always sticks with me because it's like I said, I think when you think back to some of the things that they like to say, even though it's out of context, but I'll use it as an example.
Yeah.
They like to say that Joe Biden, back 40 years ago was, dropping the N-word, even though he was reading off a script in the middle of Congress on the record. So it's like, it's not like they got him on videotape or, a phone
Why do you want to
conversation.
have context? Don't.
Yeah. Who cares
Not
about
good sound
context?
bites.
But it's like, they like to compare that to what Trump is doing right now. And they're like, well, what about what Joe Biden said in 1987? And I'm like, well, I'm glad that you said that, because the measure of a man is when you can change your opinion, when you realize that you're wrong.
When you get
And
grown.
I've said some really dumb stuff. Got it. I said some really dumb stuff in my life.
I concur. I was there in your youth.
Thank you. So I can admit it, and not even in my youth, my 30s too. But when you can say, crap, I was wrong. That's on me. I was ignorant. I overreacted. I didn't know what I was talking about. I didn't have all the information. These are all things to say to yourself that are okay to say to yourself. These are things that are okay to admit, to say, you know what, I didn't have all the information and I made a wrong choice, or I made a wrong statement. I have so much more respect for people who can authentically and genuinely do that, to be like, crap, that's on me. You have to respect that, because we're all human and we all make mistakes. We all learn. The question is, are you willing to learn? And are you willing to take that information and fundamentally change who you are? And it takes work.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
Well,
Changing who you are and how you process information and how you look at things and how you look at people in society. Right. If you're raised racist and you have to reprogram yourself to not think that way,
right,
like, that's work. But people put in that work every day.
Yeah. They
do it because they realize that's not the right way to be. Carrying around that kind of hate all day, every day, that's heavy.
Yeah.
And then you just realize, and then you meet people and you're like, you're cool as hell.
Yeah.
Like, what? I don't understand what all this hate was all these years that I was taught. And once you have those kumbaya light bulb moments, that's when real people, real men and women, they grasp on and they do the work. And they change who they are. They change how they approach life. And not only that, but they try to help other people realize, like, look, I know I've been there. I've been, baked in that ignorance that you're sitting in. I get it.
Right.
But there's a better way. Here's the information. But it's like everything else, just like taking somebody to rehab, that has an addiction. This is very similar. You cannot make a MAGA person, see the light. They have to want to see the light.
And that's the thing. The fact that we lack empathy for someone like Hunter Biden, because they bring it up so much, and it's like, okay, but this person is ill. He needs help.
And he's been honest about it.
Yeah, I get. Look, and I'm not saying he's a saint at all. It's just he's ill.
He's got a criminal record.
That's reality.
I mean,
so does the ex-president. And so it's one of those things where it's like, okay, I'm glad that him and Hunter are on the same page, but the only difference is Hunter's not running for president. So, you don't have to bring it up because it's his father who has the empathy for this man. I love that you brought up Cat Williams with that quote. Something that I've always listened to, because I'm a huge, as we always talk about, hip hop fan, Outkast. Especially in our heyday, I think we had great hip hop.
Great hip hop.
But
we lived through the best of it, man.
But Outkast, it's a quote that they said in one of their lyrics, and it was, "Forever change, yet always stay the same." And I have lived with that for my entire life, as an adolescent to now, and I always thought about that meaning, the deeper meaning of it. Grow, have all your experiences, do all these things, make mistakes, learn from them, keep going, but always remember who you are and where you came from.
Yep.
And humble yourself from that, regardless of whatever successes you need and everything. Humble yourself, and it's one of those things where I've always loved that. So, forever change, yet always stay the same. I think that.
And I love that you said that, because I think evidence of that, not just for you, but for both of us, is that we still have the same connection we had when we were in school.
Yeah, you did text me recently. You were like, man, it feels like we used to back in science class.
It's just like we used to do in science class. but it's like when you don't change who you are fundamentally,
Right.
like there's certain things that I'll never, my principles and my morals I think are pretty fundamental. That I don't think that that's changed a whole lot. I think my dad did pretty good instilling some of that stuff in me.
Yeah.
But like you said, but you can always change, and we should always be striving, to be better than
Elevate,
we.
man. Always elevate. Always
Yeah,
look for the next notch and move
always.
up. You know what I mean?
Every day we try to be better. Especially out here on social media, it's like
Oh, it's savage.
it's savage as hell. And it's bad too because we talk about all the time. You post something and it's like my haters have a screen grab of it, even if I catch it in 2 minutes.
Yeah, yeah.
And I delete it.
Yeah.
It's too late.
It's
like
late.
it's out there.
But on the internet is forever.
The internet is forever. It's on Reddit already.
It is unforgiving. I know.
And,
Kaylin said, "Let's get Ian on Twitter." No, I'm good. I like my piece. Okay.
Hey, I'm just happy we got him on Spotify. Which, by the way, if you want to, you should go check out Ian on Spotify. He'll tell you a little bit more about it here in a second. But he's been sending me his new music, so we finally got him posting his creations online. So we're gonna start lifting that up. But it's actually good. I'm not just saying that because he's my friend. It's actually good. So you guys should go check out his beats. It's good. I love the fact that it's not always the same. It's always something a little different. It's always a little bit of a different tempo, a little bit of a different approach, or a different way you end the song. Like it's always something different, and I like that. So he's on Spotify. Is it just Spotify?
No, I'm on all platforms.
All streaming platforms. And under your name now, right?
My name, you'll find it.
Okay, so Ian Sherman, make sure you go.
I ain't hiding from nobody.
Nope, no more hiding.
It's funny because as I was saying to Kaylin, I ain't getting on Twitter. If you find me, then you deserve whatever kind of day you get. Okay, just letting you know. That means you put in some work. So if you find me, if you are in my space, you will have the day you deserve.
Yeah, man.
And I mean that with a lot of love or whatever else. Take it how you want.
Take it how you need.
That's right. That's right.
So while we're talking about Supreme Courts real quick, and we're going to tie this up kind of quick, at least I say that. So the Texas Supreme Court has rejected a challenge to their abortion law. Yeah. The court ruled against 20 women who said they were denied medically necessary abortion, saying the medical exceptions in the law were broad enough.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's not many things that I read that get even reading it just now again, got my blood pressure, my heart beating faster. It literally gives me a physical reaction to read that 20 women had to sue the state because they said that they were denied medical necessary abortions. And the state looked at them and said, we don't care what you're saying. We don't care if you're telling us that it affected you. The law is already broad enough.
Yeah, they're pretty much trying to gaslight, which is really tragic.
This is why kicking it back to the states was always the dumbest answer I'd ever heard. To remove a federal protection for women and then kick it back to states like Texas, who, most of them can't read past the 5th grade level. Are you serious?
Well, I will say that, as tragic as it is a gift that the Conservative Party has given as a wake-up call to every voting member of society, because they realize, because every election that abortion has been on, this is statistically true, abortion has taken over.
Yeah, it was 9-0, right? 9-0.
Yeah.
Not one justice freaking had the
Supreme Court. The
Texas Supreme Court. Not one justice on the Texas Supreme Court had the cojones to stand up for women.
And it's because doctors are looking at the law that they have now instilled, and it's from 1925.
Yep.
That's where they're at in Texas, and they're like, I'm not touching this with the 50-foot pole. I'm not doing it. And so then these victims, as I will definitely see them, brought this case because they're like, look, you pretty much want me to be dying on the bed before you'll do anything, and I'm trying to have kids. That's why Cox's case was so important. Yeah. She said, I need to remove this child because I'm trying to have more kids, and this may injure me beyond repair.
Yeah.
And I
want
to
make it so I can't have kids again.
And it's so she's literally the perfect candidate that you would be like, yeah, no, this is a situation we want. And so then it really does tell you that this is about control. It's not about women. And the hypocrisy about what the act is, and Paxton. I mean, you talk about the bottom of the barrel, just the gutter trash of individuals. Um, it's one of those things that you see him in, and he's like, we're fighting for all mothers and babies, and it's like,
No, you're not.
okay, okay, okay,
Like I said, this is why the
at a local
Supreme
level,
Court.
vote them out.
This is why. Yeah, that too. Yeah, I'm gonna say that one more time too. As you guys know, I sign off almost all my videos saying whatever you do, make sure you get out and vote. I don't tell you make sure you get out and vote for a Democrat. I tell you just make sure you get out and vote.
Yeah.
Make sure you do your research on who you're voting for.
Yeah.
And don't make the same mistake I did for 34 years. And, well, not 30 years of voting, but, about 20 years of not paying attention to the judges. I was always focused on the marquee, votes. I'll admit that. Like, oh, president, great. Senate, awesome. Congress, cool. After that, who cares? Like, that was kind of my mentality.
Yeah.
And now, it's one of the reasons I say that to so many people. Like, please, these judges that get into the system, they have the possibility of making it to the Supreme Court. And we now see how important that is. Yeah. So let's make sure we get the right judges in the pipeline, and not just for the Supreme Court reasons, but because we need a judicial system that's fair and works for everybody. It's not supposed to treat one group of people or one group of society different from the others. And right now it does. And as long as we have for-profit prison system, it will continue to.
Business is booming.
Business
13th
is
Amendment.
booming.
I got a personal beef against the 13th Amendment.
So with that, we're going to end on talking about. Yeah, sorry, I'm just.
No, keep it moving.
We're going to end on some more breaking news as we were getting the show ready, which is Joe Manchin has announced that he is officially leaving the Democratic Party and files as an independent.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on this?
I mean, I never thought he really was a Democrat. You know what I mean? Like when you think of like a Dino.
Yeah.
He definitely. But I also look at his region. He has to be very like middle to right in his section of the globe, man. And it's one of those things where it's like we've been waiting for this. And but at the same time, I'm looking at the Democratic Party where I'm just like, when I look at him versus like Rashida Tlaib, I'm like, yeah, very drastic.
Yeah,
very drastic. And it's just like, we need to figure out how we find common sense, and I think that's what's lacking. It's just common sense in both parties.
I agree. And, what the only thing that bothers me about this is, Joe Manchin was he never helped the Democrats out very much anyway, in terms of his votes. So it's like, I don't feel like we're losing a whole lot in terms of votes. But,
right.
At the end of the day, when we talk about things like if we want to amend the Constitution, if we want to impeach domestic terrorists that are currently sitting on the Supreme Court of the United States, if we want to actually affect real change, what we need to really do is give a president that wants to fix the system, we need to give them a supermajority, which means that they would have to have, as close to 3/4, of the House and the Senate as they could have, So it's
which
like
to me may be too much power for one party to have.
Could be,
and that's
at the end of the day, the way
people meeting in the middle,
and that's the way the reason it's set up the way it is right now is because, like we were saying about the Supreme Court, it makes sense to us that you give 3 liberal seats, 3 conservative seats, and then you have a tiebreaker.
Right.
Like that makes sense from us, and so I get that this process makes sense, but I lost where I was going.
Well, no, what I let me pick it right up, because
Please.
When you're looking at that being a 50-50, and then you have that tiebreaker, which would be the vice president.
Yeah,
this is forcing people to have to work together. But take it.
So, so with Congress, the whole point is if you have to have 3/4 of the vote, then that means you're going to have to lobby half of the other party to, in theory, however big that divide is, but you're essentially going to have to lobby half of another party to get it done. Because the theory is, okay, there's enough, you have all these people, and that there will be enough people to do the right thing. Because if it's so important that that the Constitution needs to be amended, then it would be the right thing to do, and you would have no problem getting 3/4 of the vote. But it's almost like they didn't anticipate people being unwilling to do what's right for the majority, even if it meant, losing their job or, losing their position or, it costing them donors. There's so many things that go into to these people's decisions that shouldn't factor into it. Like doing the right thing for Americans you shouldn't be factoring in your personal, whatever for it.
Yeah.
Like right is right, and domestic terrorism is domestic terrorism, and if you don't think that what we're experiencing January 6th and what we're even experiencing right now is domestic terror, I challenge you to go grab a dictionary or go Google it and read what domestic terrorism is, and then tell me that we are not experiencing that right now.
But I do think that a number of people in the Republican Party are living through Stockholm syndrome, because none of them have the gall, none of them have the pizzazz that this man. Because keep in mind, Trump was a Democrat up until he ran for president.
Yeah.
He was literally with the Clintons up until they met up against each other. So when you really think about this, he just flip-flopped into their side because he understood he could be a big fish in that party. Yeah. And he did. He took over everything. And they cower. As like Alito, they cower really when a real man comes around them. You know what I mean? There's a lot of, ball in the mouth coming from the Republican Party. They like to act tough, but they definitely have, they're cockhold. Let's just be serious.
Oh yeah.
And it's one of those things that you're seeing it on full display. And when you see this desperation that's coming from them, that
desperation, exactly.
They put this man on such a high mantle, and now the fact that they're seeing it crumble, they're breaking.
Yep.
They're breaking. There's no that because you could do anything you want to Joe Biden. I don't care. He's not on the mantle for me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, like, it's not for me either.
If he was guilty, he's guilty. Then bye. Next.
If Joe Biden was guilty, I'd be calling for him to be removed right now.
Bye.
If he had been found guilty yesterday,
34 felons. Bye.
I would have been one of the first people saying, "That's it, guys. Call it
Ryan,
a day."
I will say to you, Trump was by himself today. I don't care what people said online. If you don't show up, I want that to really sit there and matter. These people showed up. Nobody was standing behind him. Nobody in the party. Nobody was matching suits. None of this cute little parade that they put on.
Oh, yeah. It didn't work. Yeah, what they were doing didn't work.
But nobody's standing behind him today.
Nope.
He was at his press conference by himself.
Now I think people are starting to be like, oh, he could actually go to prison.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think for some people, it's definitely... Yeah.
It's something interesting. And when you're looking at that and you really talk about it, and shout out to the 2700 we got going on right now.
Yep.
Giving you guys a lot of love. We see some friends and we see some enemies. We see you. Welcome to the Hold the Mic. Like, subscribe, and hit that subscription button. Definitely. If you guys like what we're saying, or if you don't. If you hate what we're saying, come back for more, because clearly you like, a foot up your ass.
Yep.
So, one of the biggest things that I found interesting was that the level of defeat on that man's face because of that was. But like we're talking about, if Biden was to be found guilty of any of this, we would not have that mentality. And I think that when you're talking about the forefathers, with their ingenuity of looking at how to build this country, this experiment, they didn't have the internet in mind, and they didn't have this cultism. They didn't have this two-party system. It wasn't Republican, Democrat the entire history. These are parties that are in their infancy. Really, I mean, they've been around for a long time.
Yep.
But they flip-flopped also in ideology. So when you look at, and I love when my conservative friends tell me that, they're the party of Lincoln, and that that the Democrats are so racist and how they're the Dixiecrats. And I go, yeah, but you're no longer the Republican Party that was Reagan, just like how the Dixiecrats are no longer what they were, because everything is now flip-flopped.
Yep.
Just look at who the KKK vote with. Now ask yourself.
He voting with the liberals.
How you doing?
Yep.
But I will say, that's not to say that there's not bigots and racists in the Democratic Party.
Why do you think I left the Democratic Party?
They exist.
It's one of the reasons I left. I'm not going to pull punches. That's
no. But this is why we rock with each other, because we call it out. This show calls out everybody.
Yep.
And we make it fun.
That's the thing, man. Wrong is wrong. And I mean, like I said, mistakes are mistakes. But Donald Trump, this isn't just one mistake.
Yeah.
You know, like he has a like a CVS long receipt, you know, of mistakes. Like with
That shit's still printing, man.
like it's like the coupons are still fucking coming out. Like we're still waiting. Like my
Yo,
ice
it's so
cream is
good.
starting to melt. I'm waiting for
Yeah,
this dude's receipt. So
it's so
it's
good.
just we you can't look at somebody like Donald Trump and ignore, like at some point you look you look stupid, you know,
Yeah.
ignoring, you know, L after L after L, and it's like court document, you know, video, you know, deposition, videos of the woman telling you the story, you know, like all this stuff, and it's like ignore it. We don't care. We'll vote for him anyway. I'll vote for the felon. Like, how do you? We can't take you seriously. Like, I cannot take somebody seriously who looks at Donald Trump and says, "That's my guy."
Hey, man, it's just like how I look at my kid. You know, he believes in Spider-Man and Batman right now. That's what they need. They need that. I bet you they got their little Trump pajamas on going to bed. You know what I mean? They
Oh,
mama's
well,
house.
that's actually true. Like
Yeah, and
seriously,
that's how I see it.
if you
That's who
wear
you're
Trump
dealing with.
stuff, if you have a Trump hat, a Trump sweater, Trump shoes, Trump sandals, Trump Crocs, Trump truck, anything, if you wear any of that stuff, I hate to break it to you, but you're the sheep.
Yo, man, broke a sheep.
Like, yeah, spent all your money painting that big ass truck to say Trump on the side.
Trump.
You better get 34 felonies put on the back.
Yo, man, yo, and counting. Plus,
Yeah, and counting for sure.
This is just the beginning. So but at the same, and it's one of those things.
Trump diapers.
Yeah, man, it depends. All right, get it right.
That's what
Depends.
happens when we give Kaylin margaritas.
Trump depends.
One
And Kaylin, we
margarita
love you.
and two
Yo.
margaritas.
Counting 34. Hey, she having them like Trump getting these felons. All right, she got 34 today.
Yo,
Let's go.
yeah.
Let's go, Kaylin.
Oh
No,
man.
but it's definitely one of those things where we have to also check ourselves, and just like how we've talked about some of the wars that are going on, we don't need to be in the rush to be the first one. And it's like any of this stuff that's going on here, you know, and with all the fake, actual fake news, actual misinformation that's coming out, like we have to get better. We have to adapt as a culture to understand not to react in any way first viewing of anything. You know, we have to train ourselves. We have to adapt for what's in front of us, especially starting at this election, going into the next, you know.
Yeah, AI is going to be a pain in the butt for sure.
It's going to be how you use it. You know, I'm using it and I'm working with it to create album art. You know, but at the same time, it's like I'm not just creating it and then be like, I made something. No, it's like, okay, I used AI and then here I am sampling my own work to then do my thing to it and then create something from that. But it's just it's you're using AI as an assistant. You're either going to do it for good or bad.
It's definitely an awesome tool. It's just like everything, you know, when you mix an awesome tool with personal responsibility or lacking thereof, you know, then interesting things start to happen.
Human error always creeps in.
Pretty much, or human evilness. I don't know. But with that said, so what's your positive for the week?
Already at positives?
Yeah, man, we're done.
What?
Yeah.
Stop it.
Yeah, man. I mean, an hour and 18 minutes. That's about our normal time.
Oh my God, this flew by, man. Shout out. We have just about 3,000 views on Twitter, as Kaylin said.
3,000 views, 2,000, yeah, 946.
We making numbers. You ain't got to cut the real number, man. Just say almost 3,000. God damn.
Well, they can see it. Not a lot. Like we're at 3,500. Like they can see it's 2,946.
I didn't say lot. I said most. Okay.
Oh, most. Okay.
Yes.
Almost.
Yes. Almost that. That's all you gotta say.
See, that's what Jen does. Jen does that to me too. I'll be like, "What time is it?" She'll ask what time it is, and I'll say it's 12. And she'll look at the clock. She'll be like, "No, it's 11:53."
And how many seconds?
I'm like, it's 12. It's noon.
I'd say it's almost 12. That's me. It's almost 12.
Yeah, and
quarter two.
It's like that thing. Am I the asshole?
Hey, what's the number at right now?
What's that?
What's the number right now of views?
Right now, 2,946.
Oh God damn it!
Oh, she says it's at 3,000 now. It must be taking a while to update on my end.
There we go.
See,
Thank you, Kaylin. Thank you.
3,000 viewers. Thank you to all of you. You know,
coming in.
So what's your positive?
My positive, we got 3,000 views on this bad boy right now, man. 3,000 people want to listen to us actually break down some
And we got
situations.
2 new countries this month. Two
And we
new
got 2 new
countries
countries.
listening. We got
Man,
France
positive.
and Ireland, I think it was.
My positive is I've been having a lot of great meetings behind the scenes. I'm not really one that likes to talk about the progress, but I will say I've been having really solid meetings of with my music, with some music supervisors, and just what I'm trying to do. And the project that I've been putting out right now, for those who are checking it out, is that I'm creating everything off my phone, and it's dope to see the process to really just taking a certain chunk of my time per day slash week slash month to watch the small little pebbles grow into the road that I've built. And you, huge advocate, and I appreciate you for definitely just saying, talking trash on the mic to me off this show, letting me know, Ian, you better put that out there. um Much like a big brother almost, which cracks me up. And but it's a lot of love. And
Always.
but this project has been really dope to just kind of really flex in a certain way my own creativity, and to travel more inward to just tap into something that's going on, whatever I've digested, from my diet. So
Yeah.
it's been that's been ongoing. But it's been great, man. We're getting into summer season, so I already know that there's gonna be a moment where I become more external.
Yeah.
Starting to train because I'm going to go kayaking around the city of Manhattan. So there's a number of things that are happening where I know that I'm going to be putting away the toys of traveling inward, and then I'm going to go on adventures. I'm going to get my Sacagawea on and be kayaking in this bad boy. So that's my goal, man. That's my goal, and I'll keep you posted on that journey.
Dude,
So
I'll fly out for sure.
you better be physically ready because the East River is no joke. Okay,
Well, I'll
East
be on
River
a
in the hood.
motor. I'm gonna be on a motorboat. I ain't gonna be out there friggin' paddling.
If you look like Forrest Gump next to me on your little shrimp boat, all
I
right,
have
we're
my
gonna be
little
fighting.
shrimp boat. I'll have a
gonna
little
just be waving
sandwich
it.
eating too. You good, bro? Yeah. Okay. You gonna be looking up like the sandwich looks good.
Hey man, you'll be we docking and we gonna get some snacks. All right, I'm telling you right now. Yes, Kaylin, I'll get you. Ryan will send you the link to
Yes.
Spotify. But yes, it's on all streaming. Everybody, this is it's right now. I'm releasing slowly. By the way, my plan is to release a couple singles stretched out throughout the next year. And right now I'm at 3 singles that are out there. So I'm just doing me. I'm having a blast doing it, and it's fun to just create. But it's when you're listening to it, keep in mind this is being made off my phone. Sometimes in a taxi, sometimes just walking around New York, stopping in a park and creating. Sometimes, just at the end of night. So that's where when you touch on how different everything kind of comes off, it's almost from what I'm experiencing and seeing and being around. So
Yeah.
it's fun to see that transition. One of
Did
them
you
was
ever, did you ever think you'd be making beats in the back of a cab 20 years ago?
no. I had a whole, what's so wild? And it's funny because my brother and I, we beef about this, but he's like, man, it ain't good as that basement beat you were making back in Detroit. And I was like, oh my God. Like, it's like a trash ass beat, like my first beat ever. And to
Like,
this
bro,
day,
look, that sounds like it was recorded on a cassette. What are you talking about?
and it is something. Kaylin, you are definitely spitting bars on my next track, girl. I got you. I want a sweet 16. All right. I want a
Well,
sweet
I
16
want
from you.
dude, I want to do a diss track for Marjorie Taylor Greene so bad.
Oh my God! First, I think you and Kaylin are definitely going to be doing that. Y'all going to come off like Kendrick. All right, it's going to be ruthless.
I need to start writing.
Hey man, but it's so much fun. But I mean, when I graduated from college with a business degree in music business, it's hilarious to me to think about how much has changed from me graduating to now, even in being in the industry here, working with who I've worked with and doing what I've done. It's so different. It's so different. So, but it's dope. I think it's in the hands of the creator, which it should be.
Yep, for sure.
So we'll see. What's your positive, my man? What's going on? What's the Friday looking like?
Donald Trump being found guilty, of course.
Oh my God, bro.
No, I'm kidding.
That was your positive yesterday. What's today's?
That was yesterday's. No, you know what? Today was like literally right up before the show. I was outside with the kids in the pool, and Livy She's gotten to the point where I feel comfortable that if she fell in the pool, she'd be fine. Like
I'll bet.
she'd be able to swim and get out.
Okay.
Dominic, he might be okay, but yeah, I'm not comfortable yet. So,
Okay.
but just being out there and enjoying the summer with them, making sure that I take my time. I know we talk about this a lot, for my positives every week, but it really is just about taking more time, with the family, especially this summer, because during the school year, we're just all busy.
Yeah.
So it's like,
We're
I'm
on
busy
work
doing
mode.
all this, they're busy doing their
Mhm.
schoolwork. Jen's doing, going to college and overseeing the kids' schoolwork, plus doing stuff around the house. So it's like, she's keeping shit together while, all three of us are, well, all four of us are doing, what we need to do. So, it's just, I'm trying to be very mindful this summer of making sure I take the time while we have it, to spend with them and,
Love
and
that.
still do what I got to do every day, because I'm finally starting to make, sizable money, doing the social media stuff. So it's like,
Bet.
I still got to put out the content, and
Yeah.
do that, and it's work. But,
Have you implemented more of a decompression and a step back? Have you found your right footing of how much to be in the matrix versus really enjoying? Like, because I know you said you wanted to start and take a step back.
like
Was that
getting
just a
better.
week, or is it? Are you trying to slowly implement that?
No, I mean, like, I think it was both. I think taking that week showed me that I needed to implement, better mechanisms in my daily schedule. Making sure I take out time to, go for a walk with the dog or, cook dinner, little things like that. It's amazing how much you can forget when you get caught up doing whatever you're doing. And, when you're constantly putting out content, it's easy for hours to go by.
Yeah.
And then, you look up and it's like, crap, it's 9 o'clock and I didn't even cook dinner yet. And you go out there and the kids are like, oh, we already made mac and cheese.
Yeah.
It's like, they're fine. But, to me, it's like, shit, I missed that having dinner with the kids,
Yeah.
and I did it because I was doing, whatever. So it's like, just definitely fine tuning things to make sure that, I keep what's important in focus and, which of course is the family.
I love that,
And
man. I love that.
we're going to Disney. We're going to Disney soon, and definitely
World
looking.
or land? Which
We're
one?
going to Disneyland, so definitely looking forward to that. It's going to be our second time going, so
Nice.
the kids are a little older, so I think they're going to enjoy some of the bigger rides this time. We're going to have a hard time explaining to them that Olivia's only 10. Um,
Just
you know,
because she looked like she about to join the WNBA don't mean nothing, bro.
bro, she looks like, but she's starting, like, in her face and everything, she's starting to look like she's freaking 12, 13.
Yeah.
And then we're in the pool today, right? So we're in the pool, and Dominic's like all wanting to play, and I have a floaty that I usually float on, but I couldn't. So I had a surgery, and for some reason, the one up on my shoulder is not healing. So
Mm.
I have to go see my sister-in-law this weekend to ever look at it. So I couldn't lay on it, so she was laying on it, and she had her back to the sun. And I'm sitting, as high as I can up, and I've just got my arms there. And she turns and she just kind of looks at me. She's like, "Dad, can you turn me around?" I'm like, "Okay." So I turn her around on the floaty so that she's, her face is pointing the sun. And
Yeah.
then she goes, "Can you hold me right here?" I was like, "Child." It's like, "No, I'm not going to hold you right here." So I ended up holding her right there. And
Dad.
Dad. And it was just like, I'm sitting there thinking to myself, you're already a teenager, like
Yeah.
lounging in the pool. Like, Dad, I just have to you're in my son. I'm
Yeah.
like it's just
Yeah.
going by so fast. And I just want to make sure that I spend, the time with them so that, I don't want them looking back and be like, yeah, Dad was always, had his head in the phone or was always in his office, or I just,
I
you
love
know,
that.
yeah, make
I
sure I
love that.
take times. Like Legos seems to be a big thing for us right now. So like we're doing Legos. They're helping me with my McLaren F1 car,
Dope.
and Livy's into castles. Dominic's into dinosaurs, and Jen is into anything Disney. So we literally have. Matter of fact, I don't know if that right there. The kids put that White House together for me.
Oh, bet.
That's a Lego.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
so yeah, they put that one together for me, and it's just kind of turned into one of our things now. So we've been doing Legos, and the kids are getting into video games, which is kind of nice for me because I'm big into games.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, just family time. That's what I'm really trying to focus on. And it's not just for the kids; it's for me too. Just and by
Oh
the way,
man,
this
it's
is
food for our
the end
soul.
of this is the last day of Mental Health Awareness Month. So I just want to again give a shout out to everybody. Like myself, if you didn't already know, I'm bipolar 2. I was diagnosed in 2018. And it was a long, long road, to get to where I am today. A couple of wrong medication combinations along the way, which can be a little scary, sometimes. But, just know that you're not alone. And I would much rather see you in my comment section than be reading about you in the news.
Yeah.
And there are resources out there for people like us, whether you're a veteran or not. You can contact 988, which is that's our 911 for mental health. So just if you need something, resources, you need somebody to come to the house, instead of dialing 911, make sure you dial 988, because there's a much better chance that you're going to get somebody that's experienced with mental health episodes showing up to your house versus an officer who may not be as well trained.
Yeah.
So we love you. Just keep fighting. I know some days suck, and some days it's just about making it to the next, and that's okay. And, like I said, I want to see you in the comment sections. So as always, just take care of yourselves out there. That's the most important thing right now. We have so
I would
much.
appreciate you sharing these bits of your life with us, because I feel it's so great to humanize who you are, because we see you and it's mostly the content you put out, which is not about your family on the clips, right, on everything.
Yeah.
So I love that this show we get to learn who the real Ryan is, right?
It's nice to share. I wish I could share photos and videos and stuff, like I see other people do, but we got doxxed. I think this week. I don't think it happened since last show. So it was pretty disgusting. Like it was so bad I can't put it up on the screen. Like I literally can't post it on any of my social media because they would take it down.
Yeah.
So it was that disgusting, and they used photos of Jen. They used photos of our home. They posted our address. They had me hanging in effigy with racist things written on my face and my shirt. And they just kept making new accounts on Twitter and posting it. And Elon Musk let it keep happening.
Yeah.
Thankfully, I just have to give a shout out to Kaylin and Derek and so many of you who, when you saw that, you were not okay with it, and you sent it to me. I probably wouldn't have seen it if it wasn't for you guys. And the way you all jumped in and started reporting the account to make sure that it got taken down. And, for every disgusting person out there that wishes, harm on my family, I know that there's 100 of you out there that, don't. I'm
gonna tell you right now, there's 3,000K. All right, 3K plus in this chat right here. All right, I'm giving you numbers. All right, loose numbers.
Numbers.
3K plus. All right, that are here to support, and regardless, even if you have trolls here, they could be anywhere in the world and they want to be here with you. So it's really interesting. It's one of those things where you gotta give love where it's necessary. Yes. Even if it's from somebody who wants to disagree or just troll you in your comments. But I'm telling you right now, they rather waste their time, or they don't understand the meaning of time because they're with us, or they really just a secret crush on one of us. It is what it is.
And I want to end the story by telling you this. So I go into the bedroom where Jen is, and I have to tell my wife. And for those of you who don't have a black wife and don't deal with racist comments and attacks, you might not understand how hard it is to walk into the room where your wife is and show her some of the most disgusting things that somebody could ever put on the internet, and they're using her to do it. And I feel like that's my fault, because I would proudly post photos of her, and people take it and do, those things with it. So I feel responsible. And so I had to go in and show her. And I remember, she looked at me, she could see my face. She knew something was wrong. And she's like, what is it? And I just looked at her and said, I don't want to tell you. I was like, I can't tell you. I was like, I just showed it to her. And I was waiting for her to look at me and basically be like, "That's it. Time for you to stop. Time for you to stop the social media stuff, and this is enough."
Yeah.
And that was the response I was expecting, honestly.
Yeah.
And she read it, looked at it, and she handed me back the phone. She's like, "Okay." And I just kind of looked at her, and I started getting the guns out, making sure that they were all, I had my clips and everything all
Yep.
together, and she knows where they're at and all that. And she literally, she's like, "F them." She's like, "Let them come to the house." That was literally her response, and that's been
Wow.
her response ever since.
That's
She's like,
400 years of DNA talking right there.
she,
You hear what I'm saying?
but it's what she said that will probably stick with me for a long time. And it's like, she's like, imagine what people like Barack Obama and his family had to deal with
Yes.
when they were doing what they were doing. It's like, if they're this upset with you, that they're willing to do all this work just to potentially get your attention, or just at the possibility that, the cops might show up for a mental health check, or,
Yeah.
a swatting or whatever, and that's what they want.
Yeah.
And so it's just like I said, for every one of those people, I know that there's 100 other of you out there that, and you don't even have to love my family, but you at least respect us enough not to put us in danger. We can agree, and like, you can call me all the names you want online. Like, honestly, I can take it. I give it just as well as I take it.
Right.
But, leave my family out of it. Leave my kids out of it. Like, I don't attack anybody's kids. I don't release anybody's private home information. And even when like I said, talking about Laura Trump's kids, because she posted them with Trump today, like, even that made me feel uneasy. And I tried to, be careful with how I worded it,
Right.
because it's like, I don't want to be a hypocrite.
Yeah.
But like I said, man, none of this is worth us hurting each other over. It's not worth us putting each other in danger. Like, we're having online debates, and whether you like how I deliver my message or not, it really isn't worth, putting my kids in danger. And, you show me that respect, and I'll show you the same. That's all I'm asking. So with that,
I love that you have this space to share what's going on, the reality of
Yeah.
the good, the bad, and the ugly, with being in social media and also just being in politics. I think you're really giving a voice to a lot of people who may be upset or have that bad day and they want to see you break. And I give you a lot of credit for coming here every Friday and being able to unload, to really deep down feel and being able to verbalize, because once you can verbalize it, I know you've processed it, right? You
Yeah.
digested it. And there's some more moments where we can't talk about it, and that's fine too, because you still need to go through your process. And one of the biggest things is that you got a base, and we are here with you. We're a foundation. You know what I mean? We got some of the most amazing people who are in this group chat that are here constantly returning, and new names popping up. And it's one of those things where I say, we are building something special, and people are going to hate on that. You know what I mean? Because they want to feel like they're a part of something.
Yep.
And if they can't feel like they are welcome, and you're welcome. You know what I mean? We have an open door policy here. It's one of those things where it's like, it's up to you. And no one cares about trolls or bots and all that shit.
Yeah.
No one cares. But it's one of those things.
We're interested in good faith conversations.
Always.
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 That's the thing. Like, if you're going to come at us sideways, we're going to come at you sideways. But if you come in with honest questions, like, I had somebody ask me, they're like, what's Trump guilty of? And I literally asked them, I said, "Are you serious?" And they came back and said, "Yeah." And I said, "Okay." And I listed it out for them.
Right.
And it was, they literally responded like, "Oh, okay." It was like, what people think, they expect you to not have an answer. And when you do have an answer, then it's like, oh. And that's when the personal attacks come in. Because they don't have a response to your response. So then it is, oh, you've got gap teeth, or your glasses, or your hairline, or you're fat, or...
I promise you, I'm a lot more vicious and I'm funnier than you. As in whoever wants to start something with me.
No, you're funnier than me too. That's fair, just so you know.
No, not at all. I go for the jugular though. I got jokes. I got jokes. And we keep it PG on this.
You're much more, what's the word? What's the right way to put it? you're not. You're like intellectually higher than me. You're quicker. You're more.
Oh, just a little wittier, just a little bit.
Yeah, you're wittier, definitely. Yeah,
Nah,
you
just
the
tad bit.
speed at which you can rapid fire things. Sometimes I'm just like I think of the person on the other side, like the slow mo, like like that hurt, like
It's one of those things, man. But it's I'm youngest of a lot of kids, so you
you
gotta
got
be
to practice.
got a lot of practice. There's a lot of siblings, a lot of siblings. My father had a lot of children. So,
So you
but
got anything else before we
no,
sign
man.
off?
I want to thank all the all the people who checked in today, man. We're reaching higher numbers, and I just want to give a shout out to everybody who you could be anywhere on a Friday, and you're here with us, and we really appreciate you.
Yes.
You guys are what's holding us down. To all the new ones, like, subscribe. Hit the subscribe button and hit the notifications so you can see what we're doing. But every Friday, man, come back. Hold the
Yep.
mic, man. We're really building this up, and we're definitely trying to have more dialogue and honest conversations here. And
Yep.
it's one of those things. Love being with you. Love this crew. 35 plus. All right, Ryan. I need to see
Wow.
those
Yeah.
numbers.
3,500 people. Wow.
Here you are. You know what I'm saying?
Here we are.
Here we
This is
are.
us.
So welcome to Hold the Mic, man. We just getting bigger and bigger, and we're having a great time with you guys.
Every week, adding new countries, listening to the podcast. By the way, so you don't have to catch us on Fridays if you can't, and you have to miss us. You can also download us and take us with you on Spotify, iTunes, iHeart. We're everywhere. So there's no reason for you not to download us and listen to us rant and rave about whatever's been going on for the week. But like Ian said, without you guys, we don't have a platform or a voice or money in our pocket. So thank you very much for sticking with us on Fridays. No, like I said, even with everything I went through this week, I just wanted to reiterate everybody that, like Ian said, seeing everybody in the comment section stick up for my family and me not even having to say anything. Like, I can't tell you how
volumes, man.
It speaks so much. Like, I can't tell you how nice that is to have that kind of support, when they cross a line. And, I can't tell you how appreciative and how much respect I have for you guys for being willing to use your accounts and your platform to call out, what was going on. So thank you so much. I sincerely mean that. And with that, I will leave you as I always do with much love. Keep fighting, stay safe out there. And remember, Donald Trump is not worth us destroying businesses, property, or losing anybody's life. So stay home. Don't let this dude divide us any more than we already are.
Oh, man, go out. Hug your kids.
Hug your
Kiss
kids.
wife.
Spend time with the family.
Go
Do
outside.
whatever
Someone's
makes you
about to
happy.
start.
Go golfing. I don't care what it is. Just spend some time on you, and we'll get back out on this fight on Monday. So, as always, much love.